I want to open it up to Q&A from the audience. So we have the Q&A feature on the Zoom. So, I mean, if anyone wants to ask any questions to any of our audience members, it'd be really great. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we have one from Lupe. So for board member Tamelia, how can parents and students contact their school board members when they are not getting resources or answers from the administration? And I would like to know this as well.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So typically, like for my district, if you go into our website where our governing board is, you can find our emails and our district numbers, and you can reach out to us via telephone or via email. There are some times that we can't necessarily go into details, but we can definitely direct you in the way that you can receive those resources. And so we can provide like some kind of information or let you know if we can get back to you. But typically you should be able to go on your district website and find the email to your school board members. And if they have phone numbers available, then you should also be able to contact them that way.
And I know that's, really important stuff because I like, contacting my school board members. When I first started speaking at school board, and first started contacting people at school board, it's intimidating. I mean, we've already talked about it. The conversation is top down. It's school board on top, everyone else on the bottom, and you're speaking up to them, and it feels like that. And if if you are able to talk into that void, and for school board members, if they're able to respond back, it feels so empowering. So talk to your school board members, and I know that even if they don't respond back, they're going to hear it, they're going to see it, and if they don't see it, it's a voice, and we need so many voices now.
And I think also to remember that there are more community members than elected officials, so y'all have power. We are human just like y'all. So I hope that you know that while these are elected officials, you should not be intimidated by them, just genuinely. But they are humans just like you. And so I do hope that you feel like empowered by that. And remember, like where there's people, there's power. And so there's so many community members, and we care about our communities so much. I think it's so important to remember that we do hold the power at the end of the day as a people. And the elected officials, I mean, they're here. We are here to serve y'all. So I do want to just point that out so you don't hopefully feel as intimidated when you are going into these spaces.
Thank you. And of course, I mean, that is what we're here for, is to remind us that we are, and that's why we advocate, to remind us that we are the people in power. I did see another question for you, Tamilia, in chat from Kara, and that is, how do more people, folks, parents get on school boards? How can we make that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say connect with community organizations, connect with a school board member if you know one. Typically, they can direct you in the route that you can go on to start getting that knowledge so you can feel empowered to be in those spaces. 2024 is just around the corner. So we know that some seats are going to be up. And so we definitely want to make sure that we get people that care about the community in those spaces. I can tell you that there are plenty of organizations around the Valley that do trainings that do not cost money. So like, that's always great. But that they will do trainings to help you get the knowledge that you need to run a campaign, to be on school boards, start watching your school board meetings so you can kind of get the feel of what your district is like, to see what the issues are, to figure out what you can add as a part of being on that board. But I would definitely connect with a school board member just to see what kind of trainings that are there, because we also remember that, I mean, these positions do impact people's lives. The things that I do now is going to impact for several years students and families that are in the district and that will be going to our schools. And so I don't take that lightly. And I think people in our community who do really want to do like that work, it is so important to not only get the knowledge before you go in, but to continue to learn and continue to get that knowledge even afterwards. So like I said, just connect with the school board member and see what kind of resources are available to help you like go on that path, and just really have that discussion of what that means to be a school board member.
Thank you. I mean, that is really important. And I do want to focus on the idea of, at the same time, of people power, because I think that's another main theme, I guess if you could say. I know I've been in my, like, I've been studying for my AP literature exam. So, but I know that people power is important, and that we as people need to influence our school board. And if that means being on our school board, then that's important, because I don't think there's anything that is more influential than the local level of politics. I think that's so important when it comes to your kids, when it comes to your brothers, sisters, when it comes to anybody. It's the local level that means everything.
Yeah. And on that note, moving on to the second question in the Q&A from Christina. They ask, what does C stand for, and what role do the two of you have in that group, and what motivated you both to get involved? I think I'll go first. So Support Equality Arizona Schools is a student group made up of all high schoolers. We're mostly in the East Valley. We have some West Valley folks now, which is really awesome. And we advocate for LGBTQ and minority people, both on the school board, city, and state level. So what really motivated me to get involved, honestly, was just seeing the barrage of anti-trans and anti-queer legislation in our state, especially under Ducey, where it did feel like political fear-mongering at the expense of our young people. And it was drastically hurting us. But to politicians and a lot of people who are using these kinds of harmful rhetorics, it's just a way to get more votes. And that was really frustrating to me, because as a young person, I can't vote, and there's not a lot that we can do except push with the power we have in numbers and in influence. And that leads into the walkout today. We walked out.
Yeah, for me, I think what is well, first of all, I want to talk about what I do. So, and I think it kind of ties into how I got started here. So I think I have a little bit of a different background from Dawn. Personally, I came from a lot of political internships, a lot of like mainstream kind of stuff, like the Democrats and all that, working for them, and then slowly going through that. And then I think what that means is that today what I do for C's is a lot of logistical stuff. Dawn is a amazing speaker. If you ever see Dawn up on the podium, I think she moves a crowd like I've never seen. But for me, I've been running this van around all day, and I've been coordinating with people, and I've been trying to make sure that all these kids are safe and everybody is safe, and everybody is drinking water and putting on sunscreen when it comes to these walkouts, and that goes into also communications with all of our events and all that. But what really motivates me and what kind of relates to that is that I know I come from my sister. My sister is the person who got me involved in the politics, and it's something where at first I got involved in a lot of institutional politics, a lot of voting and stuff like that. But what I think I came to realize, and what I think empowers me the most, is when I am able to, I think, have an influence on one person who is a high schooler or middle schooler, somebody who may not be able to vote. Like I believe, when it comes to like institutional politics, you're always pushing for the vote. Somebody who may not be able to vote yet, which the vast majority of support equality members are not able to vote yet. I think getting people like that involved and getting their voices heard, because those people are the most marginalized, in my opinion, people who are not able to vote. The politicians, I believe, do not pay much mind to people who don't form voting blocks. I believe that getting those people out there, getting them to speak, is really impactful. I think it's really powerful. I think it changes the future. And I think it's what motivates me.